Welcome to the BPD Bunch. I'm your host, Xannie, and today I'm here with Solène and Lena. We're continuing our conversation from Wednesday about living with BPD and Seasonal Affective Disorder. If this or other BPD-related topics interest you, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you do not miss a single episode. Today, we're going to talk about how we know that an episode of Seasonal Affective Disorder is coming on. So, can you describe any physical or emotional sensations that signal to you that SAD is approaching?
I think for me, probably the biggest one is just, I definitely experience hypersomnia where I just want to sleep all the time. And so when I'm sleeping all the time, but not feeling energized when I wake up, that's usually a sign like, oh, something's going on.
Similarly, I really struggle to get up in the morning. So the alarm will go, and instead of being like, oh yeah, new day, let's go to the gym, I'll be like, oh my God, I don't want to get up. Why is my alarm ringing? I just went to sleep. And there's really, in terms of physical sensation, that's heaviness. Like my body just feels heavy and I just feel blah. Like that's how I would best describe it. I know it's not an official emotions name, but that would be my emotion, would be blah.
For me, I can see them in hindsight, like what those things are. I don't know if I'd be able to preempt it happening at this point, but I feel like now if I'm finding that feeling of like the sort of feeling of emptiness or disconnection to the things around me, the hypersomnia as well, there's sometimes I could sleep for like 12 hours, 13 hours. Granted, like a lot of my work hours are very weird, like working late nights and everything like that. Yeah, but the hypersomnia, absolutely a thing. And I think I am more prone to rumination, where I'm typically quite good at that and quite good at like picking it out and stopping myself. But there were a few times in the last few months, it was just kind of gone loose, and I didn't really have the self-awareness to stop it, which is something that I usually have quite a lot more of. Yeah, just, I guess another physical part of it is my legs physically feeling heavier, like literally physically feeling heavier. Like you have a balloon that you slightly deflated, and now when you hit it, it just doesn't go as far.
Yeah, I think another thing too is I noticed that nothing feels good. Like nothing makes me happy. Like I typically love reading. And as soon as I find the prospect of reading, I'm just like, I get nothing out of this. It's like, oops, there's that lack of interest in significant activities thing that we look for in depression.
Sorry, Lena, did you mention a lack of appetite?
Yes. Yeah, so you can either have increased appetite or a lack of appetite.
Yeah, because I will have, my appetite's not great as it is, but that definitely goes down. But my ability to actually stay on top of my food and keep on eating, or let's say I have a plate of food in front of me and then my phone next to it and I'm hungry looking at the food, I will pick up the phone and soothe myself with that before I actually look at the food to feed myself. So stuff like that absolutely skyrockets.
Yeah, I think I would say it's a lot of the same stuff for me. There's the tiredness and the slowness. Although I usually have something before that, which is anxiety, because when the days are shorter, I get anxious about the fact that they are shorter. That is usually a signal to me that the other things are going to happen. So I actually can kind of tell before it happens because of the context cues of the fact that the season is changing. So even if it's still warm outside, but if the days are noticeably shorter, that's when I know that all these other things are coming. Usually it's that combination of the context cues and my emotional state. And in terms of the springtime, the context cues are really just that the days are getting longer, so it's just the reverse. And I think because the hour change for daylight savings is a scheduled time, so I do feel a little bit aggressive before that, but that's a marked period where it's a huge change in the amount of light I'm getting per day. And that is usually what signals to me that that's about to happen. So just the schedule, it's literally scheduled. So that's helpful. So are there any context cues that any of you notice, as well as sort of the physical sensation?
Yes. If it's about to rain, especially that moment, you know, when the clouds are gathering and you can feel it and you can kind of smell it, but it's not raining yet and you're waiting for that break-in moment of the clouds and the rain coming down, that moment to me feels like extra heavy, and that's like a context cue that I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be a tough day. And on the flip side of that, the extreme humid heat. Dry heat, no problem. But when it's humid, like it is in Dubai, surprisingly, everybody thinks, oh, Dubai is a desert, you know, it must be very dry. No. Mm-mm. It's so humid. Like you just go out and covered in sweat within like 30 seconds. And that context cue of like, I mean, it's usually just checking the weather app, but actually you can actually see the condensation on your windows. And like the balcony it's wet, but it's not rained, but it's covered in like a puddle of water because it's that humid. And when I see that, I'm like, oh no. It's gonna be a
That's so
tough day.
funny. It's so opposite for me. Right now in Brazil, we're having like an extreme dry heat. So there's actually been a huge problem of forest fires, like the Amazon is burning, which is also depressing in another sense. But for me, it's like when I wake up and it's like the type of sun where I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be sunny all day. The sun is far more depressing to me. I hate it. Because I'm just like, it's insufferable to me, like going outside and I'm just like, oh, it's like hot. Oh, and it's still hot. I go inside somewhere and then I come out and it's like, oh, it's still hot.
Still hot.
Yeah, and it's like smoky and like hard to breathe. It's like, that's definitely a huge clue. But when I lived in the US, for me, it was definitely the days shortening, you know, especially like after November when you lose an hour and it like gets dark at like 5 p.m. or whatever. That would definitely be super hard because it's like, oh, it's just dark all the time, which is funny that both of those extremes I don't like. So.
Yeah, the dark all the time. I lived in Norway, in Bergen for a year, and that's the rainiest city in Europe, so not quite the same as Alaska probably, but also a lot of rain. And the days in the winter were like from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's your light-ish, and it rains, and it's gray, and it's wet. Oh my God. Like, I'll tell you this tiny story. Like, with my friends, we got so depressed that we decided, let's turn on this light. We had this lamp, and we all gathered under the lamp and closed our eyes, and we were like, so imagine the beach, and this is the sun, and like, because we just couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, they are proud of having a record-breaking 85 days in a row. Is it 83, 85? Anyway, it's like 3 months in a row with rain every day, every night, the whole time.
Oh, that's awful.
It gets old for sure.
I'm trying to think of context cues. I really don't have many because I'm kind of only becoming actively aware of it. Yeah, I think the one thing is if I'm working less, like, and I'm gonna be one of those people who I love my job. It's fucking great. I fucking love my job. It's amazing. And when I work less, I get that is something that I noticed during this winter. That I was like, fuck, I'm just not feeling great. Like and there's just less work. And it's not even entirely a money thing, it's probably partially a money thing. But yeah, not being able to do that, like having one of my joys taken away from me, basically.
Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. We hope you got a nugget of wisdom to take with you on your journey. Sunday, we have a fun brunch episode coming out, and next Wednesday, we'll be back with a brand new discussion topic. If you can't wait until then, we do have an extended cut of our Wednesday episode already up on our Patreon right now. It's available to our BPD buddies and our BPD besties tiers, so our top 2 tiers. If you are interested, definitely check it out in the link down below, and we will see you next time.